Now, going back to the film industry, James Cameron's sci-fi thriller Avatar is set to make its Hollywood debut this evening. The 3D-generated flick has Tinseltown buzzing, but can this buzz translate into box office success? James Cameron has a pretty good track record here, and markets reporter Sheila Dharmarajan has been taking a look into what Avatar's stock price is predicting.
Exactly.
Explain.
Right. So Avatar's stock price is actually right now predicting that the movie is going to be a huge box office success. And what I'm talking about is the Hollywood Stock Exchange. It's called HSX, and it's this web-based trading platform that's owned by Cantor Fitzgerald, and it's where traders use virtual money to trade everything Hollywood-related, just like you would stocks or bonds. So, for example, you can actually trade stock in what you think Angelina Jolie's star power is, or even put options in what you think a new movie release is going to do. So now, how are these securities priced? Because we're talking about stars, we're talking about movies. Well, just like a regular stock price, where stock prices are determined by future expectations of performance, in the case of a movie stock, what traders are actually betting on is how well the movie is going to do in the first 4 weeks of its release.
So beyond the opening night, opening weekend.
Exactly. So the first 4 weeks of that release, and that's how the stock price is determined. So, for example, if you take a look at a movie stock price and you actually think the movie's going to do better in the first 4 weeks, it could be undervalued and could be a buy. So it's pretty interesting how this works. And as soon as the movie is released, actual box office data starts to trickle in. And then what happens is the movie stock's price starts to converge with what the actual receipts are. And after the 4 weeks, it's delisted. So it's a very interesting way to kind of trade on.
It expires, essentially.
Exactly.
Okay, how accurate are these stocks of movies in predicting a box office success?
You know, there have been lots of studies done about the predictive power of the model. And in fact, Harvard Business School actually had a study about it that said it was a pretty strong prediction in terms of how well a movie is going to do at the box office. But I talked to Alex Kostakis. He's from HSX. He's the MD there. And he said the biggest validation of this model is the fact they actually repackage this data and sell it back to the Hollywood studios so they can get a temperature of how movies are doing. So Hollywood studios are actually buying this data, and they're actually looking at how a movie stock's performance is doing on this exchange.
So given all that, what is the market saying about Avatar right now? Is it actively traded?
It's very actively traded. In fact, Alex said it was one of the most widely traded stocks on the exchange. It closed yesterday at a little over $200 a share. So that means they expect the movie to take in $200 million in the first 4 weeks of its release. So big numbers there. And in terms of movie profitability, Avatar's budget was about $400 million. So that means this movie is expected to actually recoup half the budget in just the first 4 weeks of its release. So potentially a huge blockbuster. This is only domestic sales as well, so it's not even including international sales or DVD sales. So definitely a potential for some big dollars here in Avatar.
And potentially a big payoff for James Cameron.
Absolutely.
Any stars in this movie?
You know, right now most of the stars are on the lesser kind of track. Zoe Saldana, Giovanni Ribisi, lesser known stars, not the kind of big, massive star power. And it's also interesting because this is one of the few movies that's not based on a pre-existing story. It's a completely original script.
New screenplay.
New screenplay, new script, new ideas. So people are very curious to see how it's going to do.
Well, I'm sure James Cameron as well, self-proclaimed king of the world.
Exactly.
All right, thank you so much, Sheila Dharmarajan, on Avatar's prospects as measured by its stock.